Welcome back to Wake Up San Diego. And we're out on the back lot this morning with Brian Bowersock from West Automotive Group.
Good morning, Dave.
And we're going to talk some of the crazy noises that you hear in your car.
Five noises you should never ignore.
Exactly. Okay. Now, the one that I'm most familiar with is the braking noise. You know, when your pads are gone, and you're actually rubbing against the metal.
You know, or the indicators. You often hear a car drive by and you hear wheat, 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 wheat. Us that are in the business go, that car is going to need brakes shortly.
Sure.
So that's an indicator to let you know. Get it looked at now before it's more expensive.
Now, once you start
later.
hearing the squeaking, how soon do you need to take it in? Can you go a few thousand miles, or it's got to be
I wouldn't
right
go
away?
a few thousand miles. I'd get in as soon as possible because some of those indicators are very short-lived. Some are longer, some are short-lived, so you never know.
And this is a rotor,
That's
correct?
a rotor that actually went metal to metal, as you can see, and ate half the rotor off.
And that's that noise you hear
exactly
when the pad is gone.
Exactly. So one of the other dangerous things we need to talk about is wheel bearings. You get a chirping or a grinding noise when driving down the road. Could be a wheel bearing. That can become a dangerous situation. We've seen cars to where the bearing actually separates.
And you're going to hear that from the
they
area
hear the
where
noise
the
for
wheel
quite
is.
a while before that happens. So you start hearing noise and want to get in and get looked at. Often you'll get a clicking noise when turning. That could be an axle. We don't have an axle here with us. One of the other things that can cause a lot of damage to a car itself that becomes very expensive and leave you in lurches is cooling system overheating. You get a hissing. You see the temperature gauge go up. You see coolant on the ground, things like that.
So there will be indicators for that.
There
the
is
hissing and
almost
you'll
indicators
see the gauge
for everything. Exactly. So you see the gauge goes up, you know, or you see coolant on the ground, or you hear hissing noises when you turn the vehicle off. Never remove a radiator cap where the vehicle's hot. We want to get it in because just topping off the coolant won't typically take care of the problem.
And our major message with all this is if you hear the noise, don't ignore it. There is something wrong.
Correct. And get the vehicle in because you can usually save yourself some money if it gets looked at earlier rather than later.
And what else we
got? Engine noises.
Here?
We got a bunch of bent valves here. Engine noises, we get tappets from the top end making noise, things like that. Over time can cause
what's that going to sound like,
damage.
Brian? What are we looking for
Usually
in that
a ticking noise or a knocking noise from the motor, anything like that. Obviously, you want to check your oil and make sure the oil's full, but other than that, get it in, get it looked at. Dealing with the noise prior to letting it go can once again save you a lot of money.
Sure.
And the other last thing we have here on the table is exhaust noise. We have a blown out muffler. Exhaust noises typically aren't so bad as far as causing damage to a car, but what can happen is you get exhaust fumes up into the cabin. It can be bad for passengers, things like that. So that's why we want to get those addressed anytime that we have something like
what's going to be happening in that situation? Are you going to smell the fumes?
A lot of times smell the fumes, but you're going to hear it. It's going to be loud usually. You know, get an exhaust noise, a funny noise. You can get a ticking type of noise or a loud rumble, stuff like that. And just get it in and get it looked at. It's much cheaper usually to get it looked at initially than it is to let it go and cause damage to other components on the car.
And also, like I say, once something starts making problems in your car, you want to get it taken care of as soon as possible.
Save yourself some money.
Including oil changes. Yes. We have some folks here who go a very long time without changing their oil.
15,000 miles and then, oh, I need an oil change.
And the car still runs, which is surprising. Well, thank you so much, Brian. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Glad to be here as always.
Brian Bowersock, West Auto Group. We'll be right back with more on Wake Up San Diego this morning. Thank you for coming in.